Hi guys, I am about to make some homemade pizzas that I can keep in my freezer, so I'm going to show you how I do that. The first thing I have to do is I'm going to make some homemade pizza crust. You can use store-bought, you can use any type of flatbreads that you might have on hand. Sometimes I've had an overabundance of naan if I buy a big package at Costco, and I've done this same thing using that. So whatever way you want to do it. So the first thing I have to do is make my pizza crust. I am going to just make a really basic thin crust pizza dough. So choose whatever your favorite pizza crust recipe is, and that's where we're going to start. So I've got some of my ingredients pre-measured here. I'm actually going to be making 3 batches of this pizza dough because one recipe makes 2 12-inch pizzas. So that's what I'm going to start with. I've got my flour and okay, so there goes my flour, and I'm adding instant yeast, salt, and my water. I'm going to just use my stand mixer, and I'm going to let this knead on low for 6 minutes. 6 minutes start to finish. All right, so 6 minutes went by, including the time that it took for the liquid or the water to incorporate into the dough. And you know what? I think that's feeling pretty good. It's slightly tacky, just slightly tacky, but it feels so nice and soft, and I think that this is good to go. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna plop it down on the counter, and I'm gonna quickly get another batch of all of my ingredients into my mixer. Gonna get that mixing for 6 minutes. In the meantime, my oven is preheating to 450 degrees, and I'm actually just gonna cover this up quickly. What I'll do is I'll just throw the flour in there, and then I'm gonna, oops, don't wanna dump a bunch of flour out. I'm gonna just cover up that little dough ball, and I need to put a little bit of olive oil onto all of my pizza pans. I'll show you the pans that I'm using. These are the pans that I recently bought at Costco. I got a 6-pack. They were very inexpensive. Now, typically the pans that I use for pizza are a perforated pizza pan, meaning they have holes in them so that you really get a nice crispy crust. These ones are not perforated, but I thought that they'd be just fine and really handy for the freezer. I also had considered some people I know buy the little aluminum pans. However, even though they're reusable, they're only reusable for a certain number of times, and then I'm sure they would just get too flimsy and worn out. So I wanted something that was more permanent and where there would be less waste involved. So these are the pans that I decided to go with. So I'm just going to do a little drizzle of olive oil onto each of the pans, and I decided I would just go ahead and use my hand to spread it around. I cannot stand to have sticky or greasy hands, but I thought this would be a lot faster than using a pastry brush. All right, so before I even started rolling out that dough, my next batch is finished. So here we go, number 2. And so I'm just going to simply move the cover onto that, and I'm going to get all of my ingredients in here for the last batch. So my flour, my salt, my yeast, and then I need the water. There we go. And 6 minutes. Okay, so now we're going to deal with this first little dough ball. And I'm gonna just sprinkle a little bit of flour on the counter. If you're wondering why I'm not letting the dough rest longer before rolling it out, it's because I want to have a very thin, chewy crust for these pizzas. If you want your pizza crust to be softer, fluffier, more bread-like on the inside, then let your dough ball rest for an hour. And first thing I want to do, actually, I almost forgot, is I have to divide this into the two portions. I'm not going to be too particular. I'm not going to weigh it out to make sure they're identical. I'm just going to go with it and just see how it goes. Should be fine. So I usually just start pressing it out a little bit. I'm hoping that this dough isn't going to spring back too much. Sometimes it has to sit for a little bit if it's too springy.
But we shall see. Let's scoop this out of my way.
All right, so here we are. Now, this is the first batch that I did, and you see how it's spread out and it's holding its shape in the pan? Then this was the next batch that I did. You can see there's a little bit of shrinking. You know when you roll dough out and it shrinks back a little bit? So that's happening in that second batch there, and it's just because it didn't have enough time to sit and rest before I rolled it out. But as it sits here, it will become easier for you to just use your hands and kind of get it back into a circle shape. And we're getting there. Every time I do this, it's shrinking less and less. And my last dough ball is just sitting underneath the bowl, resting. I want to let it rest for at least 5 minutes before I roll it out. And that'll just help it roll out and hold its shape more easily. So now the next thing that we have to do is we have to, I believe it's called docking the dough. Is that correct? I'm not 100% sure, but it's just taking a fork and poking holes in your dough. I'm going to give it one more little stretch, and then we're going to poke holes in it. If you don't poke holes in it, then it's likely to form large bubbles and kind of rise up in the oven. So just to avoid that, come on, hold your shape. We're going to go stab it all over with a fork. My oven is now preheated to 450 degrees, and I'm going to pre-bake or par bake all of these crusts. You don't want to make your pizza directly from this dough state. You need to just cook it just ever so slightly. So I'm going to pop this into the oven, and I'm going to set my timer for 7 minutes, and then I'm going to take a look at it and see if I think that that's long enough. You just want the dough to hold its shape and become a little bit stiffer so that it doesn't just lift and fold like this when you take it out of the oven. Okay, so in we go, 7 minutes. I want to show you what happens when I first place my dough onto my pan. See how it just keeps shrinking like that? Don't worry, it will hold its shape. It just takes a little bit of time. I just rolled this with my rolling pin, and now I'm going to move on to the other half. And remember, this is a thin crust pizza. I really, really like thin crust. I just don't like a lot of crust. I don't like it thick, and I don't like crust around the entire edge of the pizza. I have to honestly force myself to eat crust if it's not covered in cheese and toppings. So we're gonna let these just keep relaxing, and I'll keep working on stretching them. And it's almost time to take the first one out of the oven. I just remembered something I forgot to do, and that is I usually just give a little extra drizzle of olive oil to the top of my pizza before I par bake it. And I totally forgot. The first one is in the oven. It's looking okay, but I mean, I just like the teeniest little bit of olive oil on the top, and yeah, I forgot that. So you know what? I think it's fine whether you do it or you don't. Totally up to you. So here's the first one that I just took out of the oven. So I just want to show you how the crust, it's not overly cooked. There is a slight hint of browning on it, but you don't want it to get super crisp. And it's just holding its shape a little. It's not as pliable as it was. That is perfect. So here are the pizza crusts. I have them all on cooling racks. All the way down the line, there are 6 pizza crusts. And as those were baking, I got all of my ingredients ready. So I'm gonna show you what I'm gonna be putting on my pizza today. I have some hot Italian sausage. I have some salami. I have some chicken that I've tossed with some barbecue sauce and a bunch of other seasonings. I've got mushrooms, onions. Unfortunately, I would have loved a red onion, but I don't have any right now. So this is just a white onion sliced up, and actually, sorry, a yellow onion sliced. I have just a few Kalamata olives. I usually would use just black olives, but I don't have any in my pantry. So just a few of those. They're very salty, so I don't want to overdo it. And then I have some sun-dried tomatoes. I've just got them here in a little strainer so the oil is dripping out. And then I have put a bunch of mozzarella cheese through my food processor. I normally wouldn't pull my food processor out if I was just making one pizza or two pizzas for dinner, but doing this many pizzas, it was well worth it, and I ended up grating an entire brick of mozzarella. If I have some left over, which I'm sure I will, then I'm just gonna freeze it. Now, as for sauces for my pizza, I wish I had showed you this before it defrosted, but in here I had 2 perfectly shaped little bricks of pizza sauce, and I froze them in 1/2 cup portions. So I find that typically for this size of pizza, like a 10 to 12 inch pizza, I would use about 1/4 of a cup sauce on each pizza, maybe just a little less than that. So I freeze them in 1/2 cup portions because I'm usually always going to make 2 pizzas whenever I make pizza. So I've defrosted that, and unfortunately I only had 2 of those portions in here. So that means I should have enough sauce for 4 pizzas. And since I'm making 6 pizzas, I didn't want to go to the trouble right now of making more pizza sauce. So I just pulled some pesto out of the freezer, and I'm going to use that on 2 of the pizzas. Now I'm going to spread my sauce on the pizza. I like to take all of my toppings pretty close to the very edge because, like I mentioned before, I don't like a lot of naked crust on my pizza. So I'm just going to spread that sauce on. I don't do too much sauce because I don't want all the toppings to slide off when I take the first bite. And then, of course, I put some cheese on next. I try to do a light layer because I always top off the pizza with a little bit more cheese. And then it's time for the salami, which I've cut into smaller pieces. Now we're going to add a little bit of Italian sausage, which I crumbled up here. I don't want to go too heavy because it's so salty. The salami is going to be salty, and of course this sausage is going to be really salty as well. Now for the mushrooms. Now for some sun-dried tomatoes. Then for the olives, not many at all. These are a lot saltier than if I just was using the regular sliced black olives. So that's why I'm keeping it to a minimum. Then some onion slices. Sometimes I add caramelized onion, but not today. Last minute decision. I have this bag of bell peppers in the freezer. So I just decided I'm going to grab just a handful and throw it onto each pizza, just for a little extra something. And I mean, you can always add these toppings on later. If you want to make this even more simple, you could just do pizza with sauce and cheese, and then you can add all of your toppings at a later time. Then we're going to do one more little thin drizz of cheese. Last but not least, I'm going to add some of this hot honey seasoning. I really love this, but you have to go light. It does have salt. Okay, so now I need to wrap these up. Unfortunately, I don't know any other way to do this than using plastic wrap, aka saran wrap. When I've done little pizzas like this using naan or flatbread, they're small enough that I can just slip them into a Ziploc bag. However, in this case, these are just too large, so they don't fit into my Ziploc bags. So I'm just going to cover them with some wax paper to try to hold those toppings in place. And then I'm going to get my plastic wrap, and we're going to start wrapping these up. So I've just been putting plastic over each pizza, and here's the thing. I am going to be putting these into my freezer, and I want them to be able to stay there for a few months. We aren't going to eat pizza every single week, so I need to prevent them from getting freezer burn. And really, the only way that I can do that is I'm going to have to wrap them in tin foil. And that's another thing that, I try not to use a lot of. And so what I was thinking I would do is I I was thinking I would use my heavy duty tin foil or aluminum foil. I don't know why I call it tin foil, but I was going to use the heavy duty type. But the problem is I am out. So that means I'm going to have to use the regular type. So this is the type I have right now. It's just like the thinner version. It's also very noisy, so I'm going to put that down. I was thinking if I used the heavy duty one, it would be a lot easier to then reuse it every time, because it shouldn't get dirty because it's wrapping on top of plastic wrap. And so if you use heavy duty foil, you should be able to get multiple uses out of it and save it from going into the landfill. So unfortunately today I just have the thinner type, and it's just more likely to tear easily, but it is what it is. I don't have the heavy duty right now. If you do have heavy duty foil, use that to wrap it, and then when you have your pizza, all you have to do is take that foil, fold it, and then it's ready to use again. If you're making pizzas with different toppings, don't forget to label them. I like to use this inexpensive painter's tape that I get at the dollar store. It stays stuck to things in the freezer, and it's also easy for me to remove, and I won't tear the tin foil when I take it off. I'm gonna get these in the freezer, and then I have to make the pesto pizzas. So on goes the pesto and then the cheese. Now for my chicken, I just cubed this up into small pieces, cooked it in a frying pan with a bunch of different seasonings, and then I tossed it in some barbecue sauce. Then onions, and I had a few slices of mushroom left over, so I decided to just throw those on. This was kind of a last minute decision. I decided that I'm gonna add some goat cheese to this pizza. I think goat cheese would be really nice with the sweetness of the barbecue sauce. So I'm just gonna crumble this around the top of my pizza. Then just a little more mozzarella. And of course, I'm gonna have to add a little bit of my hot honey seasoning. Now I'll wrap these and get them in the freezer. All right, that's it. Pizzas are in the freezer. I think they're gonna turn out really, really well. You don't have to freeze them on a pan like I did. You could always just freeze them on a baking sheet, and then once they're frozen, maybe give them about an hour or so, just in the open on a baking sheet would be fine. Then you can wrap them in plastic or foil, and they should be stiff enough at that point that you can just put them back in the freezer. I just decided that I wanted to give them the stability of having them on the pans. I do have enough freezer space right now to do that. The pans will take up a little bit more room in your freezer, but like I said, I just wanted them to have that extra stability because sometimes my freezers get really crazy and messy. So yeah, that's it. When you pull them out of the freezer, you can bake them from frozen. You'll want to bake them at anywhere between 400 and 450 degrees. So probably 15 to 25 minutes, depending on the temperature that you choose and how your oven works and all of that. Anyways, hope you'll give it a try, and thanks for watching. Bye.